Hello everyone and welcome to the third episode of the season 1 of CAS in the Cockpit. Today with the first part of the episode called Departure. In the first part, Departure, I will explain what is this training about. A good departure is the key to a good navigation. And after the takeoff, we take a safe altitude of 6,500 feet, 500 feet above the circuit height, and then fly over the runway at a 41-degree heading to start our navigation from a known location. We are now ready to navigate. Welcome to the third episode of VFR Navigation, and we are going to take off for the departure tutorial, and while climbing then fly over the runway with a heading of 41041 and reach 6,500 feet. This is a very basic navigation exercise. This training duration is about 5 minutes, and very welcome to the first part of VFR Navigation.
Today we're going to leave our familiar airport of Sedona and venture south to reach Flagstaff Airport. To guide us, rely on the nav log. It references the different legs necessary to reach our final destination. Our first goal is to fly over the runway center at 6,500 feet with a heading of 41 degrees. By doing so, we will be perfectly set up to engage with the first leg of the nav log. After takeoff, we will continue crosswind as if we were following the standard traffic pattern. However, we won't turn downwind. Instead, we will continue climbing to 6,500 feet before turning on course toward the runway center. Okay, you can take off whenever you're ready.
Okay, flaps are in the 10 degrees position, parking brake released. Only have to put full power, and then when we reach 55 knots, we pull on the yoke slowly to take off. Thrust is set. Rotate.
Next command during takeoff. Your target altitude is 6,500 feet. Maintain 75 knots. That's 500 feet above the traffic pattern, as we don't want to interfere with incoming aircraft.
So we have to climb now, maintaining 75 knots to 5,700 feet and then 6,500 feet. We're now reaching 5,000, 5,100 feet. Keep climbing. 5,200.
Maintain 75 knots.
There we are. We will climb with less speed than 75 a little bit, only for a faster climbing. We are now 5,300, climbing with 5 degrees of climb rate of vertical speed. Okay, we are at 5,500, 200 feet more. Feet more.
As you climb,
there we are.
So you stay in the vicinity of the airport.
We're gonna
maintain 75 knots.
Turn to the left a little bit. maintaining 75 knots if possible. There we are. We're reaching 6,000 feet already. There we are, 6,000. Now I'll turn to the left while climbing
75 knots.
to the 6,500 feet. Alright, here we are, heading to the departure position and climbing to 6,500 feet, and then we will take the 41 degrees heading. As you can see, we are flying to the center of the runway, a little bit more maybe. 6,300 feet. $6,400 feet. And we already are in our altitude, 6,500 feet.
You need to do this more quickly.
There we are.
To ensure accurate navigation,
Right now we're gonna take
starting point.
the 40-degree position.
You just departed from. Go ahead and position your plane above the airport.
And we take.
Nice.
There we are.
That's
Following
it.
heading
Navigation departure.
41.
Well done.
Hello everyone and welcome to the third episode of CAS in the Cockpit VFR Navigation. Welcome to the part 2. We already flew back to the center of the runway. We were flying over the airport of Sedona, where we departed from. We are flying currently over the runway at 6,500 feet, and in the second part we will fly directly to the Mons Park golf course. That's 5 minutes of flying approximately, and we expect 8,000 feet when we be flying over the Mons Park golf course. The second part is called dead rig knocking. Dead rig knocking is a method of navigation widely using the VFR flights. What are we currently learning? This training session is all about the basics of dead rig knocking navigation. This training session is all about the basics of dead rig knocking navigation. Starting from a known location at a safe altitude 6,500 feet above the airport, we take the heading of 41 degrees, heading 041, towards your next waypoint, the Mons Park golf course, and then we start the clock. We will explain that later. Then we maintain the heading. We fly directly straight to the Mons Park golf course, and after 5 minutes of flight we will reach that point. We basically just need to repeat the operation from the waypoint to the waypoint to follow a planned route and reach any destination. That's how it works. The duration of the training is about 7 minutes because we have 5 minutes of flying until we reach Mons Park golf course. And yeah, we will be following the same heading, flying straight ahead while climbing like 1,500 feet, and then we will see how to start the clock and what is this for. Very welcome to the second part of VFR Navigation.
set and maintain a heading, you'll want to rely on your heading indicator. Compasses are prone to errors, especially during turns or while accelerating or decelerating. Okay, we're in position over the runway center. Next step is to validate the time. That's a fancy way of saying start your stopwatch.
So we have a new option available over here in the toolbar menu. It's the nav log. We're gonna start the stopwatch over here.
On the nav log, you can see our next waypoint, Munns Park, is at a 41-degree heading about 5 minutes away. That means we need to be on a 41-degree heading.
So
Check your heading indicator
here
and take your turn.
we have a list of the waypoints we have to follow. We departed from Sedona. The next waypoint, Munns Park, is at 41 degrees. So we're gonna turn to the right, like 10 or 11 degrees approximately. There we are.
41-degree heading.
There we are. We are maintaining a 41-degree heading to the next waypoint, Munns Park.
Level rises. To maintain a safe altitude, we'd better climb to 8,000 feet. Make sure you keep the same heading.
Okay, we have to keep the same heading and
Maintain
climb.
full power during your climb.
We put full power, maintain the heading 41 and climb to 8,000 feet. That's a climbing of 1,500 feet in this case. We keep 41 degrees of heading, directly flying to the Munns Park over there. And we are climbing right now. We can see that in our altimeter. We are at 6,800, 6,900, 7,000.
Navigation is basically flying a given heading for a given amount of time. Sometimes you deviate. But if you track the time flown from your last known position, you'll always have at least a range for your current position.
We keep maintaining 41, 42 degrees while climbing to 8,000. We're close to reach the Munns Park. We'll climb a little bit faster. We are already at 7,500 feet. We have to climb only 500 feet more while maintaining the same heading. That's very important for VFR navigation. Right, we are at 7,700. Degrees, 41 degrees, there we are. 7,800, 7,900 and 8,000. Alright, there we are. We are at 8,000 feet at this moment.
Now get back to cruise attitude. Let the speed increase. Then set cruise power at 2,300 RPM.
Alright, we have to set at 2,300 RPM for the cruise altitude at 8,000. Over there we can see 23. That's 2,300 revolutions per minute. And we are maintaining a speed of 80 knots following heading 41. That's the VFR navigation.
On its right. This is Munns Park Golf Club. We're almost there. Let's proceed over it and see if the stopwatch matches the nav log estimation.
Alright, we will open the nav log here.
Speed can increase or decrease depending on the wind. That's why at your next waypoint, you'll want to compare your estimated time en route with the actual time flown. validate your estimate and your progress.
So we maintained 8,000, 2,300 revolutions per minute, heading 41, and when we reach Mons Park Golf Course over there, we have to look at the time of our stopwatch. We have right now a fast 5 minutes. There it is, Mons Park. We have to maintain 8,000 over there. There we are.
That was excellent. Navigation to Mons Park is in the books.
Hello everyone, very welcome to the part 3 of this third episode of CAS in the Cockpit. In the last part we were in the Mons Park Golf Course. We were flying over the Mons Park. In this part, landmark navigation, we will start over the Mons Park Golf Course, and then at 8,000 feet we will fly over a highway to the Flagstaff Airport. That is our destination today. We are expecting 8,500 feet over there, and the time to the Flagstaff Airport is approximately 6 minutes. Following and aiming at land features is the most basic method of navigation. It is widely used in the VFR Navigation. So starting above Mons Park Golf Course, we will find the highway and follow it up to the Flagstaff Airport, 6 minutes away. Very welcome.
Alright, we're currently at 8,000 feet, approximately 30 seconds out from Mons Park Golf Club. While we fly over it, let's talk about landmark navigation. One of the easier methods of navigation involves following identifiable landmarks like highways, and it just so happens we have one below us. Do you see the highway on your left?
So let's look to the left. There it
That
is.
highway leads all the way to Flagstaff. Let's follow it, and we should reach Flagstaff Airport in 6 to 7 minutes.
We turn to the left to follow the highway, maintaining 8,000 feet. Over here, we will follow this highway to the Flagstaff Airport.
To make sure we don't miss it, reset your stopwatch here and start it again.
We're gonna reset and start it again. Alright, maintaining 8,000. There we are. Following the highway, trying to keep our flight level 8,000 feet in this case. And then our mission is to follow during 6 minutes the highway to Flagstaff Airport.
Flagstaff Airport's altitude is around 7,000 feet. Unlike in Sedona, the traffic pattern altitude there is standard. This means its altitude is 1,000 feet above the airport, which works out to 8,000 feet. We need to fly over the airport before entering the traffic pattern. Since we don't want to interfere with other aircraft already in the traffic pattern, let's fly at least 500 feet above pattern altitude. So let's climb to 8,500 feet on the way.
So
Keep it at full power while you're climbing.
I will put full power, and following the highway we will climb to 8,500 feet. I'm pulling on the yoke to climb a little bit, only 500 feet more, while following the highway to the Flagstaff Airport. Right now, so you can learn, we are following very basic VFR navigation instruction. a very good way to learn about the basic navigation, VFR navigation in small aircrafts. We continue climbing.
Maintain 8,500 feet until we reach the airport.
We're reaching 8,500. A little bit more. And there we are.
Set RPM at 2,300.
RPM to 2,300. There we are. A bit less. There we are. And we follow the highway. So maintaining 8,500 feet, 2,300 RPM or revolutions per minute, 80 knots in this case, following the highway. Very basic instructions, very easy for learning about VFR navigation. After these lessons, in the next episode of CAS in the Cockpit, and the last one for the season 1, we will learn about the IFR navigation. So right now we focus on VFR, basic navigation, and easier than IFR. We will maintain only the most important instruction, 8,500 feet, and following the highway over there. Turn a little bit to the left. Over there. So we are going to fly heading 344 over here. There we are, to the Flagstaff Airport. We follow the highway, and then I think that we are close to the Flagstaff Airport. I think that the runway is over there. We don't lose the altitude. If we are 100 feet below, we climb slowly to reach the flight level. Over there. Yeah, I think we can see already the airport over there. We are close to land. Gonna adjust a little bit the trim wheel so I can lift the yoke.
There it is, Flagstaff Airport, on the right side of the highway. Well done.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the part 4 of the third episode, VFR Navigation. The fourth part is arrival. We will arrive in the Flagstaff Airport. We already flew like for 12 minutes from Sedona Airport to Flagstaff Airport, and now it's time to land. In the last part we were over the Flagstaff Airport, over the runway, and in this part we will land in the new airport. We will appear over here, over the runway at the altitude we were, 8,500 feet, and what we're gonna do is to maintain 80 knots and then descend to the circuit. We're gonna turn to the left and join the downwind leg of Flagstaff Airport while descending to 8,000 feet, keeping 80 knots and configure the flaps to 10. Then turn to the left like we did in Sedona Airport. We join the base leg, reducing speed to 65 knots, and then we prepare for landing. We turn to the left one more time to the final approach while descending to 7,700 feet, and then we configure the flaps as required. We will probably put the configuration in flaps full, so 30 degrees, and then the same landing procedures. We put the throttle in the idle position, we flare the aircraft, and after touchdown we apply the brakes for landing. So this is basically the route we have for the arrival in Flagstaff Airport, and this is the last part of a navigation, arriving to the destination, and we will see how to integrate the circuit or traffic pattern of an uncontrolled airport like Flagstaff. We will start a fly over the airport at not less than 500 feet above the circuit height. In this case, like I said, 8,500, to identify the active runway, and then we turn to the left while descending, and then fly over the runway again to integrate left downwind of the runway 21 in this case. Very welcome to the arrival in Flagstaff Airport.
Flagstaff Airport is right in front of us, and we're currently at 8,500 feet. That's 500 feet above the standard traffic pattern. It's a good altitude to avoid interfering with aircraft already in the pattern. Proceed above the terrain, making sure you maintain our current altitude.
So we have to maintain to keep the 8,500 feet and fly over the runway center. We are flying direct to the runway center and then go to the next step of the arrival procedure. Yeah.
Speed to 80 knots and start a turn to the left toward a 120-degree heading.
So reducing to 80 knots and turn to the left following heading 120 or 120 degrees. Here we are. 240 degrees. We have to turn to the left till we reach the 12 over here, 120. There we
As
are.
you pass over the runway again, start descending to 8,000 feet, still maintaining 80 knots.
So we keep the 80 knots.
Enter the pattern in the middle of the downwind leg for runway 21.
And continue descending to 8,000. Middle of downwind 21, we keep 80 knots and descend to 8,000. Oh, there we are, reaching 8,000. There we are.
We've got clearance to enter the downwind leg and land on runway 21. Keep your attitude and follow the standard pattern.
Then we turn to the left to the downwind. End of downwind 21.
Degrees of flaps.
Right now, flaps here 10 degrees.
Complete the traffic pattern until landing, as you learned previously.
Yep. So we maintain 8,000, 80 knots and 8,000 feet until the end of downwind 21. Very similar to Sedona, with the flap configuration 10. There we are. Then 80 knots if possible, and 8,000 feet. Now turning left to the base leg 21, reducing speed to 65 knots. Remember, maximum of 30 degrees notch for the turns. There we are. Then after that, ready for the final turn to the runway. Right now we turn to the left to the final approach. Flaps 30. There we are. Established runway 21, 65 knots. 2 whites, 2 reds, maintaining the glide slope of the approach. We're a little bit too low, we maintain till we reach the correct slope while approaching runway 21. Here are we landing on the Flagstaff Airport. Alright. Throttle back to idle. No more power required. And we flare the aircraft. Touchdown. And we apply the brakes to stop the aircraft with the rudder pedals.
Great integration.
Hello everyone and welcome to the last part of this third episode VFR Navigation of CAS in the Cockpit Season 1. Today with the first solo navigation flight. It's the return trip from our first lessons, and we will be departing from Flagstaff Airport, handling every navigational step on our way to Sedona Airport. After the takeoff, we take a safe altitude of 8,500 feet, 500 feet above the circuit height, and we'll fly over the runway to start our navigation from a known location. We choose whatever method of navigation we are confident with to reach Mons Park Golf Course, death rig knocking, landmark navigation, or both. Then, once we've reached our destination, we fly over Sedona Airport at 6,500 feet to identify the active runway, and then we descend to 6,000 to integrate left downwind of the runway 21. Then we follow the traffic pattern and keep the speed at 65 knots during the final approach, flare the aircraft land, and then brake close to the runway center line. The flight time is about 12 minutes only from Flagstaff to Sedona. We have no help, no markings from the flight instructor. It's our first solo navigation flight from Flagstaff to Sedona with the Cessna 152. Very welcome to the last part of the third episode. Alright, parking brakes released, full power, takeoff. Throttle set, and we rotate at 55 knots. Rotate. Positive rates. Here we are, 70 knots. And 75 knots. Leaving Flagstaff Airport. Alright, I'm gonna adjust the trim wheel a little bit. There we are. So I will be climbing to 8,500 feet, maintaining heading 030, runway heading. And we are not going to turn until we reach good altitude, and then we turn back while reaching 8,500 feet and fly to the runway center, always maintaining 75 knots for the climb. Alright, for the turn I'm going to fly 30 degrees left to the north, and then we're gonna do a right turn to the runway center of Flagstaff Airport. There we are, that's enough. And maintaining 75 knots. And then we can start with the right turn. Maximum of 30 degrees over here. This is 10, 20 and 30. Want to keep the 30 degrees. There we are. There we are. We are flying direct to the runway center. We have to reach our altitude. Will be 8,500 knots, feet, sorry. We are at 8,000 right now. Increase the climb rate a little bit for a fast climb. There we are. To wait until we reach the altitude. I'm with a 10 degree of climbing right now. And there we are. We will fly to the runway center. RPM, and I'm going to position the aircraft in the runway center. 2,300 revolutions per minute, 8,500 feet, speed increasing. We lost a lot of speed because we had to climb faster, and maintaining the heading to 10 to the runway. We will start the stopwatch. There it is. And now we have to reach the Park golf course. We open the navlog, we have heading 164. That was for the Flagstaff, for the Mons Park. We have to do a left turn after the runway center. We are following heading 210. We have to fly heading 160, so we're gonna turn to the left until we reach heading 160. A little bit, we'll look for the highway, and then we are gonna do the turn. Alright, there is the highway, we're gonna turn. There we are. We can see the highway over there, and we're gonna be following the highway already. We put the heading 170 and 5 degrees to the right. And we can see that we are flying directly to the highway, so that highway will guide us to Mons Park Golf Course. It's our first waypoint before arriving in Sedona Airport. There we are. Here in the VFR map we can see that we are going to the south, and here is Sedona Airport, our destination today. So as you can see, the highway, the straight highway ends over there, and then we have a left turn, and then we have to reach the Mons Park Golf Course. Take right heading over there. We're a little bit low. Climb a little bit to maintain the 8,500. There we are. And the average speed is like 80 knots to 90 knots with 2,300 revolutions per minute for the engine. So now we open the Navlog page. We have already 5 minutes. The estimated time for reaching Mons Park Golf Course. So we have a heading 164. So we're gonna turn to the left a little bit. There's the highway. We're deviating a little bit to the right. So do a left turn in a few seconds. There it is, the highway. So it's time to turn to the left. 10 degrees and 20 degrees only. Back to idle, and there we are, parallel to the highway. If we check in the VFR map, we're getting close to Sedona Airport. Very nice. There is the highway. We have to do another left turn we'll be flying heading 140 probably. There is a way. I'm turning to the left again, heading 140. Let's do heading 120. There is Mount Spark, of course. So we did the route very good. We are following heading 120 directly to the Mount Park golf course. So once we reach this one, we're gonna fly heading 222. That's to the right. A right turn directly to Sedona Airport. As we can see here, after that, after the Mons Park, we turn to the right to Sedona. There we are. Right now, we're gonna restart the stopwatch. Reset. And reach Sedona Airport. We're gonna turn to the right. 30 degrees. There we are. And we're gonna follow the heading 222. There we are. We check the VFR map, and as you can see, we are flying literally directly to the runway with the heading 2022. Flying to the southwest. So we are expecting 5 minutes. I'm gonna start the stopwatch again. We are expecting to be there in 5 minutes over the runway. 8 miles only. Alright, make it smaller here. You can see we're flying directly to Sedona, where we came from the first flight for the VFR navigation lessons and all the lessons we did. Climb a little bit again. There we are. So, runway inside, we can see already the runway from the cockpit. There it is, runway 21. So we have to do the same as we did in Flagstaff Airport. We have to fly over the runway and then I think we have to join to the downwind leg for the circuit and then join the leg for the base leg and then the final approach, as we learned before. Alright, there we are. We are over Sedona. Alright. We reduce speed. And start the descent to 6,500 feet. As you can see, the runway is over there. The throttle goes back to idle. There we are, maintaining 80 knots of airspeed, if possible 80 knots, and descending to 6,500 feet and fly. We're gonna fly over the runway center. All right. There we are. We're descending already. We're reaching 7,200 feet. We are at 7,000 feet right now, and we are already going over the runway, so let's see what happens. 1 mile for the runway center. Look at the stopwatch, 4 minutes 20 seconds as expected. Alright, we are already at the altitude. We needed 6,500 feet. There we are. So we're turning to the left to heading 120 to enter the traffic pattern and descend to 6,000 feet. Here you can see we are turning to the 12 here. 120 is the heading, 120 degrees from the north, and then to the 6,000 feet are we descending right now. Right, there's the downwind leg 21, and there we are, 6,000 feet over here. As you can see, 6,000 feet. We maintain the flight level. Now 30 degrees, the 3 over here heading 030 are we expecting, going to the end of the downwind leg 21 of Sedona. We put power again. And as you can see, there is the runway where we're gonna land. We are in the same approach as in the other lessons. There we are. We put flaps in 10. Alright. We start turning to the left again, to the base leg. There we are. And try to maintain 65 knots. There we are. .65 knots, and we turn to the final approach, heading 210 to the runway 21. There we are. We put flaps 30 for landing. The throttle is in the idle position, so we are flying a little bit faster. Right now we are reaching 65 knots, so we apply a little bit of power while descending the slope to the runway 21. Alright. Throttle goes back to idle and we flare the aircraft a little bit. There it is, touchdown. We apply the brakes with the pedals. And that was the flight from Flagstaff to Sedona.
Wow, great job. Some people say the sky's the limit. I say it's just the beginning.
And that was it, guys, with the first season, episode 3. I hope you liked it. VFR Navigation with the Cessna 152. If you like what I am doing in the channel, please subscribe or like the videos. And I see you in the next one, in the 4th and last episode of the season 1 of CAS in the Cockpit, IFR Navigation. So I hope you learned something about how we pilots fly VFR in the simulator. And yeah, that was it, guys. Captain Volvent signing off. Bye bye.